Okay, so welcome everybody, designers, innovators, and dreamers to our 2024 webinar on the transformative power of SketchUp Studio. Today, discover how SketchUp Studio empowers your creative vision. It's more than just software, it's where your ideas shape the future. Thank you for joining us on this journey of design and innovation. Also, just to mention, at the end of the webinar, there will be an announcement to claim something special that's been offered from our friends at Trimble. So that's exciting to look at. And then also, there will be a feedback form at the end for you to fill in on the survey. And we'll definitely be happy to hear your positive feedback and any questions that you have. If there's any questions that you wish to fill in on the chat before the webinar ends, please do so. If we don't have time at the end, we will definitely follow up. Okay, so let's explore the full potential of SketchUp Studio together. So, who are we? I'm just going to bring on my video just so that I can introduce ourselves. So we are SketchUp 3D. We're a SketchUp UK official partner, specializing in sales, training, and support for SketchUp users. I'm James Ogston, and joined with me is my colleague Adam Tomacic.
Adam Tomacic, that's right.
Okay, together, I pronounced that right, Adam. It took me the whole weekend to get your pronunciation correct. And together we boast 59 years of combined experience in architecture, interior design, in the CAD world for many years, in full 3D with SketchUp, evolving with this ecosystem. So as far back as the creators of SketchUp, we go with Atlas Software, then along with Google, and now with Trimble, and we just love this 3D journey that we're on. So hopefully you will understand that there's a wealth of knowledge there, and we just want to serve that to you. And this presentation today will show you as much as we can on the studio in the time that we have. So we've served clients virtually online for years, even pre-COVID times, prioritizing trust and knowledge sharing. And we're excited to showcase SketchUp Studio's potential to revolutionize your creative career. So really, shaking hands here, we are, just remember that our mission goes beyond just this webinar. We're here to serve anyone and everyone who seeks clarity in the 3D realm. And whether you're a seasoned designer or a beginner exploring the world of 3D, SketchUp Studio is your tool to bring your visions to life. It's about making the complex simple and the unclear clear and the unimaginable possible. So let's jump in.
Right.
Okay. So let's first quickly look at the three paid offerings and which one addresses which audience. Okay, so firstly, we've got SketchUp Go. Is the entry-level solution offering three products, namely SketchUp for Web, SketchUp for iPad, and Trimble Connect. SketchUp Go is addressed primarily to hobbyists and makers, but also members of larger teams who need to model less and collaborate more. Secondly, for professionals, SketchUp Pro provides access to comprehensive SketchUp ecosystem. It includes all the features of SketchUp Go and adds desktop applications, the extension warehouse, viewers, and pre-design tools, and it's ideal for handling large-scale projects with ease. And then finally, we've got SketchUp Studio. SketchUp Studio is the ultimate 3D suite encompassing all features of SketchUp Pro, and more, with added tools like Revit Importer, Scan Essentials, and V-Ray for SketchUp. It enhances workflows and communication for existing users and attracts new customers to the ecosystem. While currently available only in Windows, but large volume Studio licenses can be provided for Mac with V-Ray install files, and Scan Essentials works on Mac via Bootcamp iOS. So the value of Studio, and it's also important not to forget that reviewing current SketchUp ecosystem, the incredible value that SketchUp has to offer speaks for itself, regardless of the 3 different types of price points. It's easy to learn. SketchUp Studio offers users friendly tools with Scan Essentials and V-Ray 6 for easier modeling. It's interoperability and collaboration. Easily import Revit files for seamless data transfer between different software. Win more business. Studio aids in winning bids and expanding services with comprehensive tools for all project stages. Increase efficiency. Streamlined workflows reduce design time and improve turnarounds. And it serves across all the design stages to accelerate design from concept to documentation, catering to various user personas. So the studio channels creativity is lined within the personas such as architects and designers. They're experienced in creating visualizations and typically have rendering tools in their toolkit. Construction and engineering firms prefer V-Ray 6 for real-time rendering and are ideal candidates for Scan Essentials due to their use of point clouds. Landscape architects, contractors, and BDC BIM managers utilize point clouds through scanners, drones, or Revit. Interior and commercial designers can capture scanning data with iPhone 12 or iPad Pro or above. Import PLY files to SketchUp and use the Scan Essentials plugin for modeling. Retrofit or restoration specialists benefit from using point clouds for measuring, evaluating, and comparing changes. V-Ray enhances communication and with external stakeholders. And medium to big companies employ versatile generalists who multitask with various tools for different tasks. Okay, so the Revit importer. Let's start looking at the additional studio features here. So it's a simple and efficient Revit to SketchUp file importer, available as a Windows-only extension, accessible on Mac via Bootcamp or Intel Macs only. So we're going to shave hours off of your Revit to SketchUp workflow, effortlessly import Revit files into SketchUp, drag and drop your Revit files directly into the SketchUp interface, work with more optimized models with minimized geometry, with significant file size reduction post-import, experience accurate curved wall geometry from Revit, retain model structures between the Revit and SketchUp as well, including Revit materials, colors, and transparencies for visualization, and automatically convert Revit levels into SketchUp sections for easier navigation. Okay, so let me just jump in to Revit. Okay, so here we're looking at the Revit project that we chose. What we want to do here is just show a sort of quick intro into how this Revit file can be imported into SketchUp and what comes over. So typically on the 2024 Revit startup templates, we have this file. And the idea here is that we want to send the whole model into SketchUp and make a modification to this entrance archway because it's not that tall and large vehicles will have a difficulty trying to get through, the street here to the Snowdon Towers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into SketchUp and then we'll go to File, Import. Import the Revit file. Okay, so while this is launching, I'm just going to launch a poll, everybody. If everybody could care to maybe add in some feedback on the poll, just a few minutes on finding out about where you are with SketchUp and just some sort of 3D feedback with yourself. So this is quite a large file size. It's coming in and, it will appear usually within just under a minute. We're getting some good feedback coming through from the poll at the moment. This webinar is really going to help to sort of understand what the additional features are with Studio and the value that it brings. So we're nearly there at 90%. So we're expecting this model to come in and we expect to see reference data from Revit in SketchUp. So it's really, really good to know that we've got this ability now to understand the geometry from Revit and work with it. So the poll's looking pretty well in there. So feedback generally is that we have 50% as intermediate SketchUp users. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, thank you for that. So let's accept the information that's coming here into SketchUp.
It should appear shortly.
It will pop in any second.
So obviously the entire process can take shorter or longer depending on the file size. And this file is pretty big, so
yes, we're being quite adventurous here with this demonstration, just to let you know that it will bring in any file size. Obviously, the larger it is, the longer it will take. So let's just have a look at this first of all. So going to the outliner, you will notice that the Revit families have all come in and they're listed as components in SketchUp. And also down at the bottom here, we have all the levels from Revit that have appeared as sections. So if I were to go to my section, bring on the section point, you'll see that it's brought in all the respective section lines, which is really useful because we can go in here, we can double click to go in and see the plan, isolate the section, just get in close and just have a look at the sort of layout, which has similarly been set out in Revit. So that is really useful. And then also, let's just turn this off. Also down here, we've got the tags. So whatever tags have been set up in Revit, they also appear in SketchUp. So I'm just zooming into the facade of this building here. And I'm going to go down and have a look at the windows in the tags, turn off the tags, and you'll see that we've got coordination with that. And then if I travel into the component here, which would be a Revit family, you know, we've got proper organized component history from the Revit model.
So they are linked together.
They are completely linked. It's very useful. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go in and just get rid of some of the triangulations across the surfaces here. So we can soften these with a plugin. Okay, just to really polish it up a little bit. So what we have got is we've got to consider changing this arch because, as I said earlier, it's too low. And what we did was earlier was we looked at the design and we thought, well, here is a nice sort of half elliptical shape on the building here. So we used the shape of this here to form the arch in a separate SketchUp model. And if I've got time, I'll just run a quick video on the process. But it's really important for you guys to get to know more about the studio features. So what we did was, as they say normally, is one I made earlier. I'm just going to go to the components. And we've got an elliptical welcome arch, which was saved out, ready to bring in and drop it over into here. So I'm just going to enter into here, bring it over. This model with the text was using a plugin called Shape Bender. So we could bend the text around, and everything else was just generally modeled using normal SketchUp skills. So I'll just get in a bit closer. Let me just turn off the textures here to speed up things a little bit. Okay, and then I'll just go to rotate. Just snap that point there. Just get across to the other side. Use this as the reference. Fits well. It was 12,929, the length that we needed to scale the ellipse up so that we could get that there. Now this component here, what we've done is every component inside has been tagged with a classification under the BIM classification part of SketchUp, where, you know, if we want to simplify, we could type in here the word beam, comes up with the IFC beam classification, and then that's assigned. So we can see that in the entity info, IFC beam. So all of these models have had separate classifications added to them before they're exported out. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into here because the idea is that we want to get rid of this. We're effectively going into a component which is a Revit family. I'm just going to delete out the line work here. I'm just going to zoom in and just get rid of some extra bits here. Because the plan is, I'm going to then send this up to Trimble Connect, and Adam at his side is going to receive it and just do some minor comments on it. Don't be too hard on me, Adam, now, when these comments come through.
No worries. And I'll add the benches on the roof that we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, exactly. So the reason why I'm getting rid of these lines here, folks, is that we're finding that some of the lines come up in Trimble Connect in white. So I'm just cleaning these little bits up. This piece down here. There tends to be an overlap on the edge, which we've found. So we're just getting rid of these extra pieces. So that is looking good. Okay. So I'll add in a bit of color. Sample from here. I'm going to travel into the text. Choose a color here. Okay, so you can see straight away, if we look at this in context here, it's kind of a bit more balanced, I would say, and it's taller as well, so we can get these taller vehicles in up the street. Okay, so what we have now is we've got these two shapes here. I'm actually going to take this one here, I'm going to cut it, I'm going to paste it into the Revit linked axis here, okay? And then we'll select both of them and we'll export them out to IFC, which is the Industry Foundation Class BIM.
Let me just
BIM.
mention, if I can, maybe
yes, sure.
First save that model, James, because you didn't save it yet, and probably it's a good idea to do it first. So SketchUp model and save it, because it was imported but not saved yet.
Yes, good idea in case it crashes.
In case it crashes, yeah, because
yes,
it always can happen. So just remember, people, that you always want to save the model first.
Yes, mine never crashes, Adam.
I believe you. Yeah.
Very, very well, very well. No, it has
Okay.
a few times over the weekend. So that's really, really useful. Always save, save, save. So this has been exported out as an IFC file. So we'll go back into Revit and we'll go to the insert, link IFC. Let's go to the folder. In fact, hold on a second. Let me just go back here and export this out. I think where I was going to go to the folder, let's put this into the IFC. Model for Trimble Connect IFC. And export, there we go. So it's recognized the IFC attribute data. We'll go into Revit now and Revit link IFC. Model for Trimble Connect, open. Thinks about a few seconds down at the bottom here, churning away. That's normal. And there we have it. Okay, so what we do then is we're going to click on this and we're going to bind it into the Revit model. Okay. Click OK. Let's just go in here, entering into the family, delete it out, close it, just say yes to that. And there we have it. So now what we can do is we can ungroup it. So when we go to ungroup at the top, you will see that Revit now recognizes that it's structural material. It's an IFC beam classification, so it's come in from SketchUp and it's good to go. So forwards and backwards from Revit to SketchUp, SketchUp to Revit. So let me just close this down. Now, the next thing I want to do now is I want to send this model up to Trimble Connect, the online collaboration cloud platform by Trimble. And I want to communicate this model to Adam, and he's going to access it and do a few things. So as again, Adam, thank you for reminding me there. I'm just going to save it again. And we're going to use the toolbar up at the top here to, let's just publish the model into a SketchUp folder that we have. We'll go to a new folder. Let's just call this Revit to SketchUp. Let's get the caps right. Yep. Revit to SketchUp. Keep it nice and simple. Oh, this Folder could not be created.
Try
Right,
again.
okay, let's go there. Revit to SketchUp. Revit. There we
Okay.
go.
Right, so you're gonna have to give me the access.
Yep. So that folder has been created on Trimble Connect. It's been upported as model for Trimble Connect.skp. It's been published. So then what I'll do is I will go to Trimble Connect for Web. Let me just drag this over once the browser appears. Here we go. Okay, so this is us on Trimble Connect on the web. We go to SketchUp. We're going to go to the Explorer. Here we have it here. Model for Trimble Connect. We're going to click on it. And it's going through the conversion at the moment, so it's uploading it now. What we advise is to sort of regularly refresh the web page. Here we go.
Yeah.
Should import any minute now. So the thing that is really noticeable about Trimble Connect is you've got the ability to add revision notes, comments, to-dos. You can import the reference model locked into another project, so you've got complete consistency on file sharing. Let me just go to details here. So you'll see at the moment this has been updated and it's been uploaded by myself. The file size. It will appear, folks. Here we go. So here we are in the Trimble Connect software. A bit like SketchUp in a way, but we spin about. It's got textures on it. We can see all this here. And the thing that's really good about this is that you've got, you know, collaboration all the way. Now, I want to then really, for that, is I want to start to assign this and share it with Adam. Okay, so I'm going to go to share the link. Let me just grab this, copy paste it. And Adam's going to be an administrator on the project as well, and invite. I think you're actually, can you check to see
yes. Okay,
that you have access of that already? Because I think you will have.
All right, so now I will share the screen.
Okay, let me just take the stop share.
Right, screen share. Okay, now it should be visible, my screen.
Yep.
So I'll go to Open Model and SketchUp. Revit to SketchUp.
No, go back. It's the one before.
That's the one, model for TC.
That's the one there, yes. That's it.
Okay, so I'll open it.
Yes, you've already got access. That's why it's.
Yes, it's linked to point cloud. Okay. So no, I don't want that.
No, you don't want that. No, you don't want that.
All right. It has appeared, but
downloading. It took a little while to download.
Actually, it's already downloaded. Okay.
There we go.
Model for TC. And now I will add some modification. Like we mentioned that that roof. Let me just switch the
they mentioned
a little bit.
Putting some seating on the top there or something like that.
Okay. So quick bench, 80 centimeters, 40. Yeah, maybe something like that. And put a little bit and that corner. Okay, and we'll smooth that out shortly. So this will be the first one. Thread of 6, round corner, enter. and we will add some color. So just it will be better visible. Right? Now I'll lock the axis. It is too long, so I'll make that unique. Hidden geometry. Right? Maybe like that. Scale it down a little bit more, and I'll make 2 more copies on the other side. -1 on scale. Okay. So that's what we have. Perhaps, no, actually, it will be fine. It should be fine. Maybe I'll move it a little bit more here. And because the proportions are a little bit off. Okay. Now it should be fine.
Okay. Yep.
All right. And now I can publish it under the same name. This is quite important. So I'll go to publish model. Maybe let me just save it first. And then I'll go to in Trimble Connect, publish model. And it's uploading. It should upload quite quickly. And in Trimble Connect, it should reappear as the new file version, but we will still have access to in the history, in the description of the file, we will still have access to the file before the modifications. So any modifications, the old files can be still accessed, but obviously it's a good idea to save the models locally on your hard drive as well, just as a matter of precaution.
Very.
Yeah.
Very useful information.
The best cloud is your own cloud.
That's very good. I like that one, yeah. Yeah, so the reason why I couldn't send that to you was because you were already a member.
Yes,
Adam
it was already
shared.
shared. Yeah. We did it before, we did it earlier, and yeah, it was a little bit confusing. That's what we didn't test out, but yeah.
That's right.
It's
one
good.
we made earlier.
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to go into Trimble Connect and you're going to add in some comments.
Yes, some notifications.
To
some notes, I mean.
Some positive critique on my work.
Yeah. Okay, so I click on that I. Now, again, it needs to convert because all the time you are making any upload into Trimble Connect, it needs to reappear, it needs to update on that cloud system. So it takes, depending on the file size, it can take very short time or minute or two. So just be aware of that.
Good time to go and get a quick coffee or something like that. But, you know, answer a few phone calls, quick calls, and then it will appear.
That's right. And obviously, just refreshing the website is also a good idea. If anything didn't appear right away, you should just try to refresh that website if you are using the web application of Trimble Connect, but there is also desktop standalone version of the software, which is a little bit more advanced, but we will stick for that presentation to that web version.
Okay. And just to say, Adam, the Revit file that we've been working with is 150 meg.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so that's the reason why it's loading a little bit longer. Okay, so also just it's always a good idea to clean up the model as well before the upload, right? Okay, it's done. So now it should appear. Yes. Okay, so now we have that uploaded and updated version with the benches. Okay, so now let me give you some annotations, to-dos.
Have you got anything to say about the arch, Adam? Maybe you want to put a couple of comments on that arch. Is there anything there that you see there? There's a little white line. Remember I was telling you about the white lines?
Right.
See them? That's because that was not erased by myself. So there's a little.
So maybe I can add the to-do, add, and here the icon of the cloud. We can switch the color, we can manipulate that, and right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's give it today priority normal. Let's not
That's not too
exaggerate.
bad.
All right,
Yes.
James.
You're not, yeah, I'm happy you're not putting me under more pressure there, Adam, with that one.
Right.
Thank you.
Save.
Great.
And we're done. So this is the first
Okay.
to do. And then second to do, maybe it will be not to do, but it will be more like a comment. So let's add another one. Yeah, to do, add to do. No, I don't want to discard the changes. So let me just, all right, it's already working. Title, do you like the shape of bench? Right? Maybe something like that. Priority high. And also maybe different, because you can also draw the markups yourself or just use arrow text markup, anything. So it can be done like that. Maybe, yeah, it wasn't the most skilled markup, but anyway, let's do it like this. Done, and save it. And then people you share it with will be able to see the to-do list. So now, once it is done, yeah, I think we go back to you, James.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so I will just jump in
stop
to
sharing.
see. Thank you. Let me just get back to the screen share. Let me just see here. Where is that button for sharing? Here we go. Right. So I have got the share now, and I'm just going to refresh. You can see my page now. All clear there, Adam, yeah?
Yes, all good. Okay, now you can.
Okay, so you'll notice straight away we've got annotation, modified by Adam at that time. See this here, select previous versions. So we've got two versions of the model now, and this one here, if I double click on that or even click here, load that version.
And obviously each version can be downloaded individually into SketchUp file as well. So everything is written here as a history of the files.
To-dos. Let's see the to-dos. Here we go. Can you remove the unwanted? So it's going to load the comments onto
and the
the
scene
model.
and the position of the camera, basically.
So that's great, Adam. Very useful for me to notice that I need to clean these things out, and yeah, we can add that on, and I can get that issued. So thank you for that, Adam.
All
Really
right.
useful. And these can be
Welcome.
downloaded into the SketchUp model, and carried on further for future revisions. So let me just jump back to the PowerPoint. So on the subject of Trimble Connect, very quickly, Trimble Connect is with your Pro software, with Studio, with Go. It's actually built into a lot of the product ecosystem that you maybe not be aware of it, but it's a very powerful platform. It's been used extensively in the construction market now with Trimble. So basically, view, share, and access project information from anywhere at any time with Trimble Connect. The Trimble Connect is a cloud-based platform that connects the right people to the right constructible data at the right time. And with Trimble Connect, you can view, combine, and share any 3D models, perform clash detection, which is really important, and assign to-dos all in 3D. And you also, with the Trimble Connect Business, you get unlimited projects and unlimited storage. So just running down a few of the examples of where Trimble Connect is being used out on the site as well as in design offices. We have Trimble Connect that can be used at different phases of a design flow, such as design coordination and review, on-site and off-site communication, and when managing activities and tasks during the entire project, like here. Okay, we've got Trimble Connect AR, augmented reality. Revolutionize your QA and QC by seeing your models on site in context with your mobile phone or tablet. Runs on Apple and Android mobile devices, lightweight handheld operation. Trimble Connect MR for mixed reality is Trimble Connect MR connects. It's simple for HoloLens 2 or XR10 users to visualize 3D designs in the field. Runs on the HoloLens 2 and the XR10 device. Hands-free, works while you do. The Trimble XR with HoloLens 2, seamlessly integrating the digital and real-world Trimble XR10 is the only HoloLens 2 compatible hardware with an industry standard hard hat and safety certification. And then finally, the Trimble Field Link MR for mixed reality. Trimble Field Link MR is the next generation field layout solution combining the context of the XR10 with the accuracy and precision of Trimble's layout instruments. So, you know, it's really been used out there in the market. Question is, you know, you can see it in the office, but can you see it on site? Good question to ask yourself. So let's move on to Scan Essentials now. So we're looking at the point cloud. And with the point cloud here, you're talking about scan data to 3D in minutes. So it works with multiple vendor, you know, neutral point cloud formats. You know, what file formats do we work with here? So you've got the E57, common for station-based scanners. LAS or LAS, common for aerial-based drone scanning. Or PLY or PLY, common with handheld mobile phone and tablet technology like the iPhone 12 and the iPad Pro, and models above that as well. So let's jump into SketchUp and let's get this going. Got a bit of a screen lock here, guys and girls. Let me just jump in. Here we go. So let me start. I'm going to open up a file which has got the point cloud, and it's an amazing piece of data to work with. The idea here is that you get survey information from a survey company. Not only can you get Revit, CAD, and even SketchUp models, but you can also request point cloud. Now, I'm hearing a lot of designers. I have a few friends in America that are architects, interior designers. They're using point cloud to model. So the idea about this is that where you have the model in SketchUp, which has been built up from the point cloud, you know, to import the point cloud in from the survey equipment, you have got this here. So imagine you're doing a feasibility or a concept design on some change, or maybe you're starting to build up the model yourself. If you have access to the point cloud, you can actually use this point cloud image to work on top of to the accuracy that it has. I mean, let's have a look in here in the corner. If I go up, I'm going to drag down the toolbar for the point cloud, and I'm going to go into the settings here. So you can see that it's loaded the point cloud file. We've got the option to change the point cloud opacity, the size of the point cloud, and the density. If we go right into the corner here, you can see those point clouds. They're there to be used to draw on top of. So we could change the colorization of the model as well if we wanted to see a bit clearer. Okay, we can adjust the shading on it. Obviously, it would be changed to suit your best, visual requirements for there. So if I wanted to go and draw something like a rectangle on this model here, you notice when I go around the corner here, it's actually detecting the surfaces. So up here at the moment, I've got the option here to blend with the model. If I turn off the point cloud and bring on the model, in fact, the model is turned off on the scene. Here we go. I can blend the point cloud with the model, different percentages of blending, no blending, a few other settings along here. And I'm just going to, let's just go back to, let's turn off this model at the moment. So I want to go onto the point cloud in the corner here. And because I've got point cloud pick, I'm actually selecting on top of the actual surface of the point cloud to draw a rectangle over here and round here. Okay, so that in itself is pretty impressive because it's giving you the choice to choose a point cloud. Now, what we always say is it's always best to set an axis first. Okay, if we're going to draw something. So over in the corner here, I'm going to turn around here. I'm going to zoom in. I'm just going to trace over this planter box at the bottom here. I'm going to change the color. Maybe give this a bit more. Get the color through. There we go. Maybe get the shading color proper. That's probably better. And also, let me just move this up to there. Okay, so if I was to, let's just get round to that side. What I can do is I can take the pencil. I've got the points on to draw the point. So if I just wanted to click somewhere about there up to here, obviously going up in the blue direction, just zoom into here, go to the top, and then I'll take it out on the axis to touch the point cloud there, take it up in the blue to the top here, and then back along. I'll just draw a profile somewhere about there. Now, it's snapping to the points here. So what I'll do is I'll go to SketchUp Geometry Snapping instead, so it doesn't interfere with the point itself. So I'm coming down in the blue here, maybe bring the points back on to lock it in the blue direction and snap it onto the ground. Take it along here in the green, lock it in the green direction, snap it onto here, arrow up here, snap it onto there. Just using the axis as I go along, which is always the case if we want to be accurate. Now, there's interference here with this, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to put it onto pick, SketchUp pick. And then we have the surface there. Okay, so I'm just going to go around here and just draw a quick path, as I say, because we've got quite a lot to cover still. And we're on the red axis. Point cloud pick. Point cloud pick. Obviously, you'll be able to back check the sizes, but actually, you have got the dimensions, the true accurate world dimensions here on this point cloud. If there is a slight misalignment, you can always go back in with your best judgment and, refine it. So let me just go back to the SketchUp side. So there's our surface. We'll just go to follow me, wrap it round. I could have put a bit of curved in there. Let me just go back there and make it look a bit more interesting. Just get rid of, it jumped about there with my ropey mouse. Let's just get that there. Okay. And let's take the select tool and follow me. There we go. Okay, let's just bring on the rest of the point cloud. So, fairly accurate, if not really accurate, depending on how close you want to jump into those. And then the other thing as well that's really cool, just to finish off, is if I bring on here, I'll just do save on this to add it. So think of it this way. If you get a survey as a CAD drawn, 2D CAD drawn, or a 3D model survey, wouldn't it be so good to get the point cloud as well? I really find this beneficial because you're making your own decision as to what you're drawing on top of the model. Doesn't need to be fully detailed, but you go as far as you can. And it's very simple to use. So this scene here, I'm just going to save the file, and this can actually be uploaded into layout as well, and you could annotate the drawing, send to layout, which is really good. Proper point accuracy with the point cloud. There is a survey company up in the north here where they provide all the survey data that you want. So if you want a Revit file, a SketchUp file, the only thing is on the SketchUp file, they're not properly building the SketchUp files. I think what they're doing is they're importing the Revit model into SketchUp. So you really have to be pretty efficient and pretty skilled in SketchUp to strip all that down and rebuild the models. So Adam and I are actually finding that we're discovering that a lot with some people that are working on the point cloud to choose not to use it. And we say, well, the reason for that is that you're relying on a model which you take it into SketchUp and is not properly built. So this is why we're here, that we want to help you out with these things. So here we can just measure. And there you go. There's a dimension, 650 from there. Fantastic. Okay. So that is the point cloud. One of my favorites. I just love. I've actually loved working with it since I knew that we could actually get onto that and start to play around with working in. It's like a holographic image as well.
Just a quick word about that point cloud, that it actually works pretty smooth. It wasn't visible as a smooth process in Zoom meeting, probably because of the delay. But basically, these files are really working well, and it's pretty nice experience to work with that point clouds inside of SketchUp. Even though there are thousands of those points, it still is working very smoothly. So there is even a file that you could all who are already using SketchUp. There is SketchUp Campus available, and there is an example file of Fire Station with the point cloud. So everyone can actually test that on your own computer. So just a quick mention before I jump into V-Ray, right? All right.
Okay, so let me just stop the screen there.
Yes, and I'll start sharing. Right. Screen. Okay, so let me just hide that floating controls. Okay, so inside of V-Ray, you basically need to understand three things. You need to understand the settings, because V-Ray can really take, depending on the file size, but if the settings are not properly set, the visualization can take, for example, 2 hours to calculate or 30 minutes. But if you know how to optimize the settings, then you can drop that time into 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on, like I said, the file size. Also, it needs to be remembered that any SketchUp file that you are working on currently, you probably, some people don't really use the option purge unused inside of statistics in SketchUp. So it's really good idea just to use it before you handle V-Ray. And also you always need to remember that you need to have the textures properly linked into V-Ray, because yeah, this program really likes the order inside of your file. So those are things about the settings. Then we need to remember about the materials, because the materials are this base that we you know, without it, you will not achieve the realism in the image. And the last thing is the lighting. So we can use HDRI images, 360 panoramas to lit the scene. We have various possibilities to recreate the artificial light. We have linear light, we have sphere light, we have emissive materials, various kinds of, and also IES light profiles, which can give us really good results. Let me just quickly show you a couple of examples. So here I have this 360 panorama, which I'll mention in a moment. But for example, here we have this quite realistic shadows in the visualization and light. And those are made specifically with IES files. And IES files they are quite often provided by the producers, by the light producers, or they can be found online as well. So yeah, that's the thing about that's the base of V-Ray. And then if you are already using Enscape, which is real-time rendering software collaborating with Chaos with V-Ray, it can be used. So basically, the Enscape environment can be transferred into V-Ray software for better realism. So it then will create better shadows, better materials. But basically, the objects from Enscape, that real-time rendering engine, will be respected in V-Ray as well. So that's just a quick note about it as well. So, all right, going further into it. Or maybe not yet. Let me just first mention about the materials as well, because the materials are based on PBR workflow, and that PBR workflow, physically based rendering, those are this kind of maps. So in SketchUp, all you need is the color information. But so that's what we need in SketchUp only. But for the realistic materials, you need displacement maps, which is that black and white, and the white parts will basically be pushed forward and the black parts will stay in place, and this will create three-dimensional result on the material. So especially for the bricks, stone, this kind of more natural materials, it is important. For the wood as well, or the old wood, can be really recreated nicely in V-Ray. And normal maps, and also reflection or roughness maps. So those maps are quite important in this kind of workflow. So let me show you a couple of examples of visualizations. So this is on the side, you see just the export from SketchUp directly. So here I have the model which I did some time ago, and you see all those details here. This is the Basilica of Saint Stephan in Budapest. So this is real location. I was recreating that for one presentation for that purpose. So let me maybe switch for a moment to textures, because it's actually textured as well. So we have all those nice details, but still inside of SketchUp only, it doesn't really look that much impressive. But if you will at least put the reflections on the windows, some basic materials, and some bump maps, which will give you that nice result on that stone, on the elevation, for example, then it can really look much better afterwards. So it doesn't require a lot of work. The SketchUp is the base. The SketchUp model is the base. So the better SketchUp is done, the better it will look in the end in V-Ray and also in Enscape. So yeah, you can really push forward your presentation with that program. Here's another example. Here we have this HDRI sky. I use that to lit the entire scene, so there's no any additional light source in it. This is the my market square in Prague. I was recreating that as well once, and yeah, you see that reflections. You get all that for free because this is the ray tracer. So any reflective surface will be respected with connection to HDRI images. Also, we were preparing with James some more examples of the materials specifically. So we did something like this. So here again, because we are lighting it with just HDRI, right away we have nice shadows, we have nice reflections, all that is being pretty much realistic. Here's the stone example. This is some glass examples. You also have this nice refraction of the surfaces and the light bending basically. So all you need to remember about in SketchUp is that you always need to have the glass material needs to be with the thickness. So the plane needs to have the thickness, and the outer planes, outer faces must be outside. So this must be respected, because otherwise in V-Ray there will be errors, but this is more technical. And yeah, this is some metallic example. So again, we have these nice reflections thanks to that maps, basically, that PBR workflow, which is available. The libraries are available through Chaos Cosmos that I will mention in a moment, but also it is available online on a couple of websites. So let me just go back to it. For example, we have this ambientcg.com. This is free of charge for any use. So if you are not happy enough with V-Ray libraries, inner V-Ray libraries, you can use other libraries, which are quite often CC0 Creative Commons for any use. And yeah, there's hundreds and thousands of materials online, and also paid libraries. It really depends on what you are looking for, what you need, what kind of material. So that's that. And yeah, let's move on. So we also have, if we will set everything, the settings, the materials, the lighting, if we'll set everything inside of V-Ray, the ray tracer, yeah, we will also have possibility to push it to that real-time rendering engine, which is also built inside of V-Ray, and it's V-Ray Vision. It's not as good quality, obviously, as ray tracing, because it's real-time, it's rasterization engine. It works a little bit differently, but the great benefit of that is that you can create the 3D exe file, and you could just send it to the customer for him to look on his own into the file. So basically, you can send that interactive presentation in form of first-person perspective game, and the user, the customer, if he has the computer strong enough, then he will be able to open it on his own and check it out. And obviously, he cannot interfere with anything. It is locked. They can only move back and forth, have a look on their own. And you can also take images right from V-Ray Vision. it will be quite quickly generated, much faster than in V-Ray Ray Tracer, the basic engine. And you can create 360 panoramas from it as well, and obviously animations, which will take much shorter time to calculate, because it can take really 30 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes, depending on the length of the animation. So if you will create the animation inside of SketchUp file, then it can be transferred into V-Ray Vision. And I also have example of that V-Ray Vision. So let me just so perhaps I'll first show you. That's the model. I was working on it some time ago. So we have all the interiors, the outside, the finishes, a couple of rooms done here and there. And it took me around 3 or 4 minutes to push it into V-Ray Vision. I'll show you in a moment. So that's the SketchUp file. This is what we have. It weighs around 120 megabytes, something like that. Let me just double check how much exactly. 1 sec. Okay, yeah, 105 megabytes exactly. So not that big. And when I transfer that, here's the button to transfer it into V-Ray Vision. You just click Start V-Ray Vision, and then I exported it already into that standalone application, which is here. And yeah, we can just move around like in the video game. So we have obviously a couple of options here, different style of navigation. I move on DWSD now and with the mouse, but there's second possibility, more like the rotation, but I don't really use it. I like that DWSD. As you can see, the HDRI panorama is also loaded here. So if you will load any panorama into SketchUp, then it will be into V-Ray in SketchUp. It will be also respected. We are getting some nice reflections in the windows, and the lights also will be used. The same lights conditions as were set in V-Ray. So yeah, the customer can get that. And yeah, they can check that out on their own computer. So this is pretty nice and doesn't really create any problem. The only problem is that those files can be pretty big, because sometimes it can take 1 gigabyte, 2 gigabytes, sometimes even more. It really depends on the amount of the geometry in that presentation. But then it can be sent through either WeTransfer or on Google Drive or any other way to send bigger files. So that's V-Ray Vision, basically. And the next thing, let me go back to I'll shut it down for now. Okay, SketchUp can stay. And going back to the presentation. Yes, renders, animations, and 360 panoramas. So basically, we can choose. Either we will do, for example, 5 or more shots per room to show what we are designing, or we can just create 360 panoramas that we can upload right away online, and then you just can share the link with the customer, and they can open it on their smartphone on site, and then they can check out exactly in the empty room how it's going to look like in case of interiors. But it also is useful for the garden design, and I think pretty much for anything, even for the construction work, just to present how it's going to look like in real life with real light and, for example, a specific paint. It really, like I said, depends on the business. And yeah, here you have some examples as well, going back to the materials, how it's going to look like. Most of the time, just a simple reflection and good light does the job. Here again, we have this IES that I mentioned earlier. Here's another example of the same house. And here's one more with that fancy triple bed. And behind the window, we have HDRIs. So yeah, those links can be easily shared. And Momento 360 is the website that I use. It has 2 gigabytes of free space to share panoramas. You can share up to 100 panoramas there, so it's pretty much good solution just to test it out. But of course, you can also upload such panoramas, for example, on Facebook or any other social media. It can be done as well. So that's the idea behind 360 panoramas. You can either, like I said, make 5 or 6 images, or you can just do 1 or 2 360 panoramas, and it will save you a bunch of time. And especially in very narrow interiors, it works pretty well. From speaking from experience, most times it was giving much better results with the customers. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. And we have Chaos Cosmos, which is basically the libraries of objects and the materials. So if you'll go to the website, cosmos.chaos.com, anyone can go to that website. You will have the entire library available just to view it, how it looks like. We have the vegetation, we have the trees. Trees are quite often problematic for V-Ray users. It was problematic before. They introduced that Chaos Cosmos, I think in version V-Ray 5, so a couple of years ago. They begin with very humbly, there was probably around 300 models or even not that amount. But right now, there's really many of them. As you can see, over 3,000 assets, which, yeah, 3D models, over 1,000 materials, HDRI panoramas, and so on. So we can really, it would take 2 hours to get through all that. But obviously, from my standpoint, vegetation, it's probably the most important because those are very high files. And once you will upload that into SketchUp, it comes as proxy simplified geometry. So it will not be shown as the high quality geometry. It will only be very simple object, very basic shape. And thanks to that, you can put really hundreds or thousands of those objects inside the SketchUp scene, and it will not crash your model, will do nothing. And if you'll hide it on tag, then you can work very smoothly. And in the end, it will only appear in the final render, in V-Ray render, and it will also appear in V-Ray Vision, because V-Ray Vision will also display those models. So it is integrated system, and it also works multi-platform. It's not only working obviously in V-Ray for SketchUp, but it works in any other V-Rays. So yeah, I'll recommend for you to check that out, that cosmos.chaos.com.
I've just added, sorry to jump in there, I've just added a link on the chat for the cosmos.chaos.com. Very good. It's in the chat there if anybody wants to copy it in. Very good, Adam. Very good.
Right, thank you. Let's move on. So we also have, I think it's a final step, yeah, for this presentation. We have Chaos Cloud. Chaos Cloud is basically if we have a deadline or we don't have the computer strong enough and we exaggerate it with the geometry, with the file size, everything is working very slowly. And in the end, it occurs that without the brand new graphic card, it will not be even calculated, or we don't have enough RAM in the computer. Then we can jump into Chaos Cloud, and it actually can be rendered pretty quickly inside of that service. That service is paid. Basically, you receive, just to test that out, you can receive 20 credits from Chaos Group, just as a matter of, to test things out. But what I would recommend is you should first make a small render in very small resolution inside of your own computer. And then when you are ready, when you made sure that everything is linked also, let me just show you what I mean by that. In the V-Ray file path editor, that's quite important panel, because here things should be basically linked as green or at least yellow, because if they are yellow, you can archive and repath to the folder all the, for example, from 3D Warehouse. When you are uploading models from 3D Warehouse, then probably they will appear here as yellow files, and then they need to be archived and repathed. So you always need to make sure that, for example, if you want to, the light from HDRI map, it needs to be green. So this panel gives you all the information, what is missing, what is correct. So the more green boxes you will have, the better for you. And then when you did it, you can send it to Chaos Cloud collaboration, basically. So that's the idea behind the service. It can release the calculation power from your computer, and you will not have to stress yourself. And you can do the multiple jobs at once. So if you have 10 visualizations to be done and you need to do them very quickly, then it can really save the day, that Chaos Cloud. So yeah, I think
Very good, Adam.
I'm done with my part.
Thank you very much, Adam. That was really impressive. Really
just one
impressive.
more thing, James.
Yes,
just
absolutely.
I remind myself.
Fire ahead.
Again, if you are uploading anything into that Chaos Cloud, just make sure that you go to Window, Model Info, and in Statistics, you need to purge unused components, because quite often, it happened to me multiple times when I received the model from someone who works in SketchUp also. I received the model, it weighted like 600 megabytes. And when I purge unused, it occurred that it only weighs 100. So it was 500 megabytes of unwanted data that was not in use anymore. And it really takes a long time to save that file. And if you purge unused, everything, I mean, literally everything, also layout, V-Ray, Chaos, Cosmos, and sending the files between the computers, everything will work faster. So just remember about optimization. And yeah,
and maybe another thing, Adam, just sorry to come in here. Another thing as well is, what would you say about SketchUp modelers that are taking, their models into V-Ray in terms of how their geometry is and how that's kind of maybe been sort of a realization to you on the ability of the SketchUp user before they think they're going to get a successful visual? Is the optimization and the organization quite important?
Yes, for sure. Sticking to the tags and naming the materials as well. It's also quite important to have the materials named, because if there is a mess in the materials, then probably it will be problematic to sort the materials out, because as you can see in V-Ray, you don't really have the miniatures in each material. Yeah, sorry for Polish names, but it was for Polish market done. Anyway,
you're expanding.
So the best idea is to first have the main category in the name. So let's say that, yeah, fireplace, and then the further names, basically. So at least it will be alphabetically ordered in your file. So once you are creating the material inside of SketchUp, just name it right away. And I would recommend to avoid the miniatures actually in here, because most people use in SketchUp, they are using miniatures, but yes. I would recommend to stick to the list view, at least in Windows, because on Mac, I don't really think you can switch that. But in Windows, it can be switched, and that's a good idea to do it. All right.
That's a good piece of information for you all to kind of take advice on there from Adam. Okay, so what I'll do, thank you for that, Adam.
You're welcome. So let me just stop sharing now. Okay.
And I will just jump over. Okay, so we're near to close, except we have some things to look at in terms of SketchUp Studio and the ecosystem and the price points of each at the moment. So, considering what SketchUp Pro does, what Go can do, and also Studio. I mean, Studio, the value in that suite of tools is just unbelievable. I think everybody will agree. in that. And then when you break it down, when you look at the RRP cost, you know, from starter, you know, go 365 days a year using Go or Pro or Studio. We will have holidays, I'm sure. Some people will work on SketchUp in their holidays. I'm saying no more about that. But we've got, like, you know, 28 pence a day, 41 pence a day, you know. Looking at Studio itself, it's £1.77, 365 days a year, or £2.60 a day on just a normal working employee. So, you know, that in itself, it really shows the good value for money with that and breaking it down. So thank you for your time and your focus. It's been greatly appreciated for you to come on here and learn something that, you know, quite a lot of people are not really aware of, the suite of what they have within SketchUp generally, especially with the Trimble Connect side of things. So we added that in as an extra token, little gem there for you. The collaboration is really important. So please do complete the after meeting questionnaire. As I said before, anybody has any questions at all, just, you know, reach out to us.